Hello, my name is Aditya Pally, and today I will talk to you about the significance and challenges of the cultural exchange between East Asia and the world. My presentation will focus on the cultural aspects of Japan, China, and South Korea. For example, the movies that they create, the manga that is from Japan, and the food from all three places. The reason I decided to focus on these three countries in specific is because from class, I have the best understanding on these three countries because we didn't spend much time talking about any other countries. So for my thesis or main idea, I would like to say that the world benefits from East Asian culture's rich history. The mindset of the people from East Asia is just very different from those in the West. And an example of that would be that they're raised to be selfless. They're always looking out for and helping other people and are very disciplined. They have respect and honor and make sure that anything they do doesn't shame their family or their family name or just themselves. The history of East Asia can be used to teach examples. For example, an example of that would be the samurais of Japan. They follow an honor code called Bushido, which holds loyalty, courage, veracity, compassion, and honor as important and above almost anything else. Their honor is who they are, and losing their honor is like it's terrible for them. Everything they do. Another very big part of East Asian culture is their clothing. As you can see from the two pictures I have on the slide, um, their clothing is unlike anything worn today. It's not revealing, it is beautiful, and each outfit is just so intricately designed that it has a whole story of its own. The cloth they use, just where it's from. I mean, like their clothes are so beautiful and they all have, it's an art form really. So next I would like to talk about the movies from East Asian culture and how it's just, this is huge for East Asians all around the world. And it really shows how shows a lot about their culture, and it shows how their culture is integrated with the Western culture today. So for a long period of time, there was no portrayal of East Asian culture in movies. Oftentimes in the movies, if there was any East Asian portrayal, it would be like a racist joke, and that gave off the wrong image, in my opinion. Um, it created a stereotype for East Asians that was just a huge misrepresentation of who they really are. Like it was terrible for them. And one movie that we watched this semester was Rush Hour. And in the movie, there's a lot of racist jokes and racist stereotypes about East Asians. And I feel like that's just wrong because it gives people the wrong image of East Asians. So Jackie Chan is a Hollywood actor now, and he's created this image of who he is in movies, and it's through martial arts comedies. And these comedies, most of the time, have to do with racist jokes towards East Asians. And although like Jackie Chan's role was a big part of getting East Asian actors into the Hollywood movie industry and growing the name for East Asian actors, I feel like it made it kind of worst for East Asians, not in the Hollywood industry, but for East Asians just in America. Because in the eyes of Americans, they think that these jokes are funny and these jokes are okay, but in reality, they're just racist. So for many Americans that don't know much about East Asian culture, all the knowledge they have is from these movies with these East Asian actors, and they're getting the wrong image from these jokes and from these racist stereotypes. As as someone who is from India, I have witnessed firsthand how degrading stereotyping is. With the misrepresentation of East Asians in the media, all these stereotypes become more and more prevalent, and it makes it harder for children from East Asian countries to come to America and try to integrate themselves into society. In an article published by New York Times in 2018, it states that the top 100 films of last year, of the top 100 films from last year, 37 didn't even include a single Asian character with the speaking role. So with this underrepresentation of Asian characters in the media, even the few characters that are in the media, if they're getting stereotyped and they're making these racist jokes, it causes such a big difference because to people, because it causes such a big change in people's view because there aren't a lot of other different views. So when they think that these stereotypes are what East Asian people are really like. Um, Another movie we watched this semester was The Last Samurai, which was a great movie, and um, the success The Last Samurai had in Hollywood was a huge light in the correct direction for East Asians because it had East Asian actors and it showed people in America like Japanese history. It has taught Americans like Japanese people are honorable and that they are more than just the stereotypes that people had in mind about them from the previous movies of East Asian culture. Finally, one movie that I watched outside of class was Crazy Rich Asians. And this movie was an amazing integration of East Asian culture into Hollywood. I mean, the movie is also considered a comedy, but there were barely any racist jokes or racist stereotypes, unlike in previous movies with Jackie Chan. In 2017, the film Crazy Rich Asians came to Hollywood studios, and the movie featured a cast that was majority Asian. This is the first time that's ever happened, and this movie was a huge success. And it's basically about this crazy rich guy falls in love with a professor, takes her back home to Asia to meet his family. And this movie was just such a big step for Hollywood towards stopping these stereotypes of all of Asians in the media. It showed Asians in all the years. It had in all lights. It had people who were funny, nerdy, smart, good looking, and really broke down on the stereotype that people have for Asians. In an interview, the main actress of Crazy Rich Asians, Constance Wu, addresses a question that was asked of her, which was, which stereotype would you like to see be completely retired? Um, and her response really spoke to me as it was probably just the perfect response to a question like this. And the response was, I would not like to see any stereotype retired from Hollywood. I want to see the people who have been stereotyped given their own story, because the danger of a stereotype is that they're one dimensional. I love that we have sexy Asian men leading, but I also want nerdy Asian men to feel that they are worthy of love. And the problem is when you make fun of them in the secondary role, or you don't explore their whole lives, that's how you get rid of a stereotype. Not by trying to be the cool guy, because that makes the other guy feel like they're not worth anything. But if you say to the other guy or other girl that even though you aren't the beauty queen, you have a story and people want to know and you have depth to you, you have more than one dimension. And that's exactly what Crazy Rich Asians accomplished. In today's society, the biggest representation of East Asian culture is either manga or K-pop for children growing up. Growing up, for me, a big part of my childhood was Pokemon. I would watch the show, collect the cards, and trade them with my friends. Now, for many children, anime is a big part of their childhood. Shows like Naruto and Dragon Ball Z are what they watch at a young age, and these shows are what shape their minds. These shows teach kids many lessons as well as a lot about culture in East Asia. The craziest part about these shows, though, is that people of all ages watch them. Many American children's shows are only viewed by children, but anime and the shows that come from East Asia are timeless. They have a huge audience with a wide age range. Another huge part in the entertainment industry today is K-pop. I personally have never listened to K-pop, but in class, someone who did listen to K-pop said that the reason they love K-pop is the music is so good and the songs just have such deep meaning to them. And currently, BTS is one of the biggest, if not the biggest fan base, has the biggest fan base for a boy band. They are deeply integrated in American society and are still growing. The craziest part to me is that the music that they produce is in a different language and they still have a huge fan following all over the world. Their music videos of the different choreographed songs and vibrant outfits are what makes them for different than regular American boy bands. And that style and that the voice that they have now, they're using it for good. So they are truly just on top of the whole industry. Personally, the only K-pop song that I listened to consistently was Gangnam Style by Psy. This song came out when I was in the fifth grade, and it was all anyone ever listened to. It was literally everywhere, and it was the first major step for K-pop in America. I think what K-pop artists are doing is amazing because they are not only making hit songs, they're also bringing light to East Asian culture, which helps every East Asian in America feel more comfortable with who they are and their background. I would also like to say that it's not only the creators of anime or K-pop that get all the credit for this huge success. I think without the government supporting the soft power, that it wouldn't be as big as it is today. The government uses them for advertisements and spreads it everywhere so that the viewership grows and this soft power also grows. Finally, I would like to talk about the East Asian foods and drinks and how amazing they are from a cultural standpoint. All around the world, you will see many different restaurants of East Asian foods. I am from India and there are many Indian restaurants around the world, yet not many Americans are educated in Indian food. Many of them haven't even tried it, but when it comes to East Asian food, every single one of them has tried it. This food is so good and people are crazy about East Asian food and drink because of the different flavors that you don't get from American food. Not only is the food so tasty, it's always presented in such a beautiful way. I mean, back in my hometown, whenever I got sushi, they'd always bring it out to me on like a wooden boat with candles that were lit, and it was just this huge extravagant thing. Finally, not only did East Asian food get sewn into American culture, but it experienced a whole new style of restaurant experience. And that experience would be hibachi. The way that the cook interacts with the customer while cooking the food is amazing. They make sure that all their guests have such a great time and which makes the food taste that much better. And then finally, I would like to say that the drinks that also came from East Asian culture are fabulous. Literally, like right now, boba is the new drink of this generation. Like before, a lot of people would get like iced coffee or something different, but now it's just all boba. And there's so many boba stores everywhere. And the part that makes boba so special is the tapioca that they put in it that people just seem to can't that people seem to not get enough of. I would like to wrap up my presentation by saying that East Asian culture is one of the greatest cultures, and I think that people who don't know much about it are really missing out. This class has taught me so much information that I will integrate into my own life. Not only are there so many materialistic parts to this culture that are wildly fascinating, but the values and mindsets of East Asian culture are truly uplifting. I would like to thank both of you for a great semester. I truly didn't think this class would have such an effect on me, but I've learned so much information, and I plan to use some of these values and teachings in my own life. Thank you so much, as this class has truly made me feel like I will be a better person, and I wish you guys a happy holiday season.